The second I stepped out of the black Range Rover, the laughter hit me like cheap champagne sprayed in celebration, loud, sticky, and meant to sting. Well, Cousin Vanessa called across the manicured lawn. Did the charity table sell tickets to the poor side of the family too? Her sister Bella snorted so hard her mimosa sloshed. Relax, Ness. She probably just wants to see how the other half lives before the repo man comes for her Honda. I didn't flinch. I'd worn their insults like ill-fitting coats for years. Today I was dressed in armor they couldn't even pronounce. Name, Harper Quinn. Age, 29. Net worth, higher than every person laughing combined. And they had no idea. The property sprawling in front of us was called Monarch Ridge. 42 acres, a glass-and-stone mansion, helipad, infinity pool that looked like it spilled straight into the valley. Starting bid rumored at $14 million. Every old money clan within 3 states had shown up in linen and Rolexes, my relatives loudest among them. For decades they'd bragged this estate would one day carry the Quinn crest. Today they were certain it would. Aunt Lydia spotted me and glided over, diamonds flashing like warning lights. Harper, darling, she purred, voice dripping honeyed venom. Auctions aren't museums. You can't just window shop a $14 million house. I gave her the same polite smile I give pushy telemarketers. Good thing I'm not here to window shop. She laughed, actually laughed, and turned back to her friends. Bless her heart. At registration, the attendant's eyes widened when I slid my driver's license across the counter. Miss Quinn, welcome. You're pre-cleared. No spending ceiling. She handed me paddle number 17, black with a thin gold band. Vanessa, hovering 3 feet away pretending to check her lipstick, dropped her compact. No ceiling, she hissed. That's impossible. I walked away without answering. My phone buzzed. Marcus, my CFO funds liquid. Have fun, boss. The auctioneer took the stage beneath a pergola dripping with wisteria. Within 8 minutes the price cracked $10 million. Paddles flashed like paparazzi cameras. My family bid aggressively, high-fiving each time they nudged the number higher. 11 million. 11.5. 12. I stayed quiet, leaning against a stone column, sunglasses on, heartbeat steady. I knew their limits the way a card shark knows a marked deck. At 13 million, only 3 bidders remained. A tech couple from Seattle, a hedge fund guy in salmon pants, and my Uncle Stephen holding paddle for like it was Excalibur. 13.2, the auctioneer sang. Do I hear 13.4? Uncle Stephen whispered frantically to Aunt Lydia. I saw the exact moment panic replaced swagger. They were tapped out. 13.2 going once. I raised my paddle for the first time all day. 15 million. The courtyard turned into a vacuum. You could have heard a champagne cork blinked. Every head snapped toward me. Vanessa's mouth actually fell open. Uncle Stephen went the color of skim milk. The auctioneer recovered first. 15 million to paddle 17. Do I hear 15.5? Dead silence. Going once, going twice, he scanned the crowd one last desperate beat. Sold. To Miss Harper Quinn for $15 million. The gavel cracked like a starter pistol. Applause started polite, then swelled into something thunderous, because people love an underdog story almost as much as they love money. Aunt Lydia charged me first, face blotchy with rage and rose. This is absurd. You don't have. I cut her off with a calm tilt of my head. Wire cleared an hour ago. You're welcome to ask the escrow company. Vanessa tried next, voice trembling. You're doing this to humiliate us. No, I said softly. I'm doing this because I can. Humiliation is just the side effect. Uncle Stephen spluttered something about family loyalty. I let him finish, then smiled the way you smile at a toddler mid-tantrum. Loyalty? You mean the same loyalty you showed when you told me I'd never amount to anything while I was paying for Mom's funeral out of tips? I didn't wait for an answer. I had paperwork to sign. 2 hours later the keys, actual antique brass keys, were in my hand. The staff had already begun removing the auction signs. I stood on the terrace overlooking the valley and felt the breeze move through me like forgiveness I hadn't known I was holding. My phone lit up with headlines before sunset. 29-year-old unknown outbids elite for Monarch Ridge in stunning upset. I didn't read them. I was busy texting the architect about converting the East Wing into a residency program for first-generation women in commercial real estate. 3 weeks later, the estate no longer felt like a trophy. It felt like headquarters. Construction crews hammered in the background while I interviewed my first cohort of fellows. Sun poured through floor-to-ceiling windows and lit up faces that looked like mine 10 years ago. Hungry, underestimated, ready. Then the guard at the gate called. "Miss Quinn, there's a group here. Say they're family. Want me to send them away?" I walked to the front doors myself. Aunt Lydia, Uncle Stephen, Vanessa, and Bella stood on the marble steps looking smaller than I remembered. No designer sunglasses today. Just awkward shuffling and paper cups from the gas station down the road. Lydia spoke first, voice cracking. We owe you an apology. A real one." Vanessa stared at her shoes. "We were cruel. For years. And we were wrong." I let the silence stretch just long enough for discomfort to settle in their bones. Finally I said, "Thank you. I accept it." Their shoulders lifted with fragile hope. "But," I continued, "accepting an apology isn't the same as forgetting. And it definitely isn't an invitation inside. This house, this life, I built it without you. I'm going to keep building it without you." I saw the words land, not as punishment, but as simple truth. Uncle Stephen tried one last time. "We're still blood, Harper." I smiled, gentle but final. "Blood doesn't get you through the gate. Respect does. And you're fresh out." I stepped back and closed the 12-foot doors with a soft, decisive click. That night, I hosted my first dinner on the terrace for the women who'd earned their seats at my table. Brilliant, scrappy, unstoppable. We toasted with good tequila and even better laughter. The valley lights sparkled below us like spilled treasure. Somewhere down the hill, my old family drove away in silence. Up here, the future was loud, bright, and entirely mine.